Hi everybody, welcome back to Reggie's Cooked into Life's Lessons. Today I'm going to do something, of course, I digress or whatever. We know that I don't cook meals, I haven't cooked any meals that I've cooked before. So, and these recipes, I got these apps and, so different recipes comes at me. And so that's how I pick up on some of my recipes. At the same time, the reason why I'm doing it, like I said from the beginning, is for us cooking novice and for people who don't think they can cook at all. So I cook so that you can see that it can be done. And you can learn to enjoy it with me. Now today, this is a new one. Pumpkin mac and cheese. Pumpkin mac and cheese. Of course, it calls for pumpkins, as you see. And I went out, and because, of course, I love doing this stuff fresh. And so I got these two little pumpkins because I didn't want a huge one. I know I wasn't doing a big super dish like that, a big pot like that. At the same time, once I started cutting these things up and peeling these things, I've realized maybe I should have got them a couple days earlier because this thing was hard. But these cubes, which is a part of this pumpkin mac and cheese, they're going to go into the oven and they're going to bake at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. And let me get back to telling you the ingredients. The ingredients for this pumpkin mac are the pumpkins, pumpkins or squash. You could use squash, but you chop it up into the squares. So you're going to need some olive oil or something because these are going to go into the pan. And then they're going to want, season them, and then they'll go into the oven, like I said, at 400 for 20 minutes, 20 minutes or so. And for the sauce, we're going to have, use some butter, a cup of butter, 1/3 a cup of butter, 1/3 cup of flour. Of course, I have that there. And I already pre-measured the 2.5 cups of milk and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. I already have my seasonings in my little dishes. My seasonings are in my little dishes, and actually it calls for the nutmeg and calls for something else, but pepper, just pepper. But I put pepper, but instead of putting just pepper, I put some pepper in there, but I put some Italian seasoning, the flake seasoning in there, because again, we do the cooking for taste, okay? So again, I'm just going to chop up a few of these. I don't know what I'm going to talk about because I'm just going to be talking about off the top of my head, something that might help, that'll help somebody. It might not be for you, what I'm talking about, but the cooking part might be for you. The same way the cooking part might not be for you, but what I say might have an impact on your life or somebody that you know. That you'll say, oh, I heard that. I heard Reggie talking about that. And he was talking about this is the direction that he went into. And anyway, so I was saying that I sliced the pumpkin all up, the little pumpkin, and then I used a potato peeler to peel the pumpkin. But again, that was like peeling carrots because it felt like I was peeling carrots. It was along that lines. But again, now that I have these all peeled and chopped up, they're going to, and I preheated the oven. Now they're going to go into this pan here. Because the baking of them will soften them up now, because they're going to go into the macaroni and cheese. So again, now I'm going to take I'm not going to pour the seasoning on yet because I want to put the oil on it first. I want to put the oil on it so that the seasoning will stick to it. I'm not supposed to use no more than 2 teaspoons or something like that. 2 tablespoons, excuse me. No, two tablespoons of the oil. Okay, salt, pepper, and sage and stuff. Now I got the pumpkin. Now I'm going to sprinkle the seasoning. This is pepper and Italian seasoning. And of course, I'm supposed to use some salt too. So I can do, this is a salt grinder, but I don't have the rock salt in there, so I can do it like this. Yeah, still gotta get it to come out. Okay, now I have the seasoning on the pumpkin and the oil, and so now I'm gonna mix it like this. I gotta mix it like this. So now the pumpkin has the oil all over it, and the oil's all over my hands. But the time, of course, the time preparing this was the chopping of the pumpkin. And now, after I did it, I would suggest that if you get it, you're going to get it fresh. But I would let it sit, let the pumpkin sit a couple days, because that softens up the pumpkins. And you know, like when you're going to make pumpkin pie or something like that, you soften them up and stuff like that. Now I'm going to dump these into the oven, not dump them, but put this pan into the oven. It's at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. Yep, I have it on. Okay. Now they're in the oven. They're going to do their thing for 20 minutes. And in this time, we're going to make the sauce. We're going to make the sauce for, you know what? I'm not going to jump on it because I'm not going to jump on it right now. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break. Let's take a break. I know we haven't been here on there long, but let's wait for the pumpkins to be in the oven at least about 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, because once we get into the sauce, then we'll be putting, once we make the macaroni cheese sauce, because I already boiled the noodles. I boiled the noodles. And then, so the noodles are done, and they said to drain, so they're in there, they're drained in there. I'll flake them up and make them looser. And I got it. But like I said, I got everything measured up. And for the sauce, I don't know if I finished telling you, but we're going to use butter, flour, milk, nutmeg, garlic powder, pepper, cheddar cheese, Parmesan cheese, macaroni. Of course, macaroni, because it's macaroni and cheese. And for the topping, we're going to use cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese, and Parmesan. But for right now, we're going to give this stuff a chance to do its thing in the oven. And then we'll come back and we'll see, besides the cooking instructions, let's see what comes to my head to talk about. So hold on for a second, folks. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, folks, and I pulled the pumpkins out of the oven, and let me show you. Of course, they're back to that smelling wonderful up in here. They smell delicious. It smells delicious. And one of my main concerns, my concern was, because the pumpkin seemed to be so hard, how were they going to be in the 20 minutes at 400 degrees? I pulled a piece out and smashed it with the fork. That's how it went. It went straight soft like that, because it didn't take long to cook. Now, the way I'm going to do this now, in fact, I'm gonna sit this right here so you can see this. Sit that right there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the stove now, and I'm going to talk about what I'm doing, and I believe I'm going to be switching screens, where I'll have the pot this big, and what I'm talking about, what I'm talking about, what I'm doing with me in the corner, like this. This recipe had called for sage, and I put the sage into the pumpkin, and it also called for cooked pumpkin, which and I brought a can of the pumpkin filling, and I put that into the cup, so that will go into this dish, into the pot also. Then we'll wind up pouring the macaroni in there, and then we'll wind up pouring the diced up pumpkin in there, and then there are different cheeses, and then that will go into the oven. Now, okay, so as I'm over here at the pot, and that was just some water I had in there, but we're throwing the butter into the pot. Yeah, we're letting the butter melt around in here. Now, as the butter is melting down, as I said, now we're going to sprinkle some flour in there. Okay. Oh yes, this is the gravy part of the macaroni and cheese. Now, we're pouring in the milk. That's the whole 2.5 cups. Now I'm mixing it at the same time. Gotta let it come to a boil. Now I'm going to bring the garlic. That's the garlic. Mix the garlic in there. Now, nutmeg. Nutmeg goes in here because nutmeg is going to change the color. That looks good. Now, I prepared 2 cups of cheddar. Put this back on the fire. 2 cups of cheddar. Maybe I should, turn the fire down a little bit. I got 2 cups of cheddar and the cup of the pumpkin sauce. Don't want to burn my hands. I mustn't forget the Parmesan cheese is mixed in there. Now I'm going to pour the macaroni into here. Of course, remembering to grab my, oh my goodness, what a sauce, and I'm going to put the rest of this macaroni on there because I believe that it can handle that. And I'm going to put this pumpkins in there. Put the pumpkins in there. Sorry for blocking the camera, but I'm going to put the pumpkins in there. To be serious, I can tell this is going to be delicious. It's thick. It's plenty of cheese, and more cheese has to go on it. This is serious. This is serious macaroni and cheese. And it's called pumpkin macaroni and cheese. Folks, this is how this is coming together. This is coming together like this. Pumpkin macaroni and cheese. I mixed the pumpkin, already mixed the pumpkin into, mixed the pumpkin and the cheese into this. Now this has to go into the oven. So I'm going to do this like this. It's stirred. But now I have to stick to. That's macaroni and cheese right there. That is the texture that I know that macaroni and cheese has. But now go to mozzarella. And sprinkle some more cheddar. Some more cheddar. Because this is for the topping. Yes, the topping. Half a cup of cheddar, just a handful. Half a cup of cheddar. Half a cup of the mozzarella. Half a cup of mozzarella, or as we say, put some cheese on it. Put some cheese on it, because this is lasagna. What's lasagna without some cheese? I mean, excuse me, I called it lasagna with macaroni and cheese. Well, lasagna needs cheese too, but and it says a quarter cup of the parmesan. Now this goes back in the oven. Oops. Now this goes back in the oven to sizzle up. I put it on high, and again, this goes back in the oven for a few minutes. So, let me show you guys what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Now it's going back into the oven. I think it'll be in the oven for 10-15 minutes. 10-15 minutes, and then it'll be done. Whew. All you have to do is listen to me and follow me around or something, because it can get hectic. It gets hectic because, like I said, this is the first time that I'm making the dish too, so but we moving right along. I don't know what that is. What was that? That was round. The plate? I don't know. Okay, so now we have it in the oven. It's going to be in the oven. I got it on the broil. It says grill, broil, grill. Or I could have just left the oven on bake or something like that. I'm going to let it go in there for like 15 minutes, on the 10-15 minutes on the broil, so the top cheese that I put in there will melt. And then we'll see what it's like, what it's going to taste like and all that kind of stuff. Pumpkin mac and cheese. We're going to take a break, folks. We'll be right back. Okay, folks, our dish did its time in the oven. I hate to say I took a scoop out of it. I was on the phone with my sister and I took a scoop out, but I'm not going to let you guys go without letting me. Oh my goodness. This is so, it is so good. It's so good. It is so good. It is so good. It's so good. That's all I can say. It's so good. I already tasted it. So here we are, folks. Pumpkin macaroni and cheese. Pumpkin mac and cheese. It's delicious. Thank you for being with me. Remember, you don't have to be a pro cook, professional cook, a chef to make a dish that is perfect for the family. Pumpkin mac and cheese. Reggie's Cooked into Life's Lessons. Subscribe. See you guys next time. Talk to you.